Warning, the Renegade Recruiter is not for the soft, timid, or faint-hearted. If you need permission or seek approval from your mother, spouse, mates in the pub, or anyone else for that matter, this really isn't for you. If any of what you've heard puts you off in the slightest, I advise you not to listen any further. You've been warned. Prepare yourself for the no bullshit, zero fluff. Quick, dirty, and uncensored secrets for any serious recruitment, staffing, and search business owner who wants to earn more money with less work and fewer headaches, without having to kiss ass or bend over backwards to please anyone. He's a relentless and fearless renegade who will stop at nothing to reveal the harsh, unforgiving, and brutal truth about what it really takes to succeed in this business. He's a guy people love to hate and hate to love. It's your host, Terry Edwards. The Renegade Recruiter is unleashed.
Hello. This is Terry Edwards, Renegade Recruiter, and welcome to another episode of Renegade Recruiter Unleashed. And today, I'm all on my lonesome. Yep, Drew's not with us. And there's a very good reason for it. Well, I say a very good reason. Drew became a dad yesterday, so fantastic news for Drew. I am now officially a granddad, so I'm expecting a lot more respect from listeners as from today, as I'm a granddad. So that's why Drew's not with us. And our guest today is Walt Hampton. Walt, thank you so much for joining us.
So pleased to be here, Terry. Thank you for having me.
It's a real pleasure. And, just to give you a bit of background is that Drew and I are a member of a marketing mastermind group, and we meet up in Cork every 12 weeks. And at the last mastermind, Walt gave what I consider to be one of the best presentations ever, and kind of really summed up and shared some real gems with us. And then after the presentation, I thought, I've got to get this guy on one of our podcasts. Could you share some real gems with us in the meeting? So for those that don't know you, Walt, can you tell us who you are and what you do, please, buddy?
I sure can. I'm President and Chief Operating Officer of Book Yourself Solid Worldwide. Book Yourself Solid is the original business building system that dates back all the way to 2003 and is the subject of a best-selling book that was authored by Michael Port from New Hope, Pennsylvania. And Book Yourself Solid trains business coaches all around the world and has a business mentorship community. Book Yourself Solid is the fastest, easiest, and most reliable system for getting more clients and customers than you can handle, even if you hate marketing and selling. I am also the executive director of a coaching community called Summit Success. I am the best-selling author of Journeys on the Edge, Living a Life That Matters, and the Power Principles of Time Mastery. I am a high-altitude mountaineer, ultra-distance runner, blue water sailor, adventure photographer, and I live in West County Cork, Ireland, with my beautiful wife and business partner, Anne, high on a hillside overlooking the North Atlantic Ocean.
Fantastic. And I get the distinct impression that you probably weren't born and bred in Ireland. Is that fair to say, Walt?
Well, I've been working on my American accent for a while, Terry. Is it convincing?
Excellent. Where about in the States are you from, Walt?
I was born and raised in the Northeast of the United States. I have a footprint in Connecticut, which is between Boston and New York. I had a law practice there for 30 years. I was trained as a lawyer, solicitor, and was the managing partner of a law firm for quite some time.
So you have a legal background.
Don't hold that against me, Terry.
I'll try not to, Walt. I'll try not to. Fantastic. Just a couple of things you said there really interesting. Do you say you do ultra distance running?
I do ultra distance running, like 50 and 100-mile races.
Wow. What was the last race that you did out of interest, Walt?
I did. Well, you and I share a common acquaintance in our mastermind group, Flor McCarthy. Flor and I did the Clonakilty Half Marathon back in November. Earlier last year, I did a 52-kilometer race in Ireland. I've also done a number of ultras, 1,500-mile races in the States.
Wow. Well, you've just shared with us some of the things that you do. You're a very, very busy man. So, and it was interesting. You talked about time mastery because you must be a guy that really must know how to master your time. So I'm going to come back to that because I'm actually fascinated. There's so much that you're doing. So you clearly master your time. But I just want to ask you a bit about the book Yourself Solid. I mean, I read that book, oh, crikey, 5-6 years ago. You did say what, but just for the sake of repeating yourself, when was that book actually published, Book Yourself Solid?
It was published back in 2008 and immediately became a mega bestseller. It's been translated into 11 languages and is in the hands of coaches, consultants, and entrepreneurs all around the world. I think it's probably impacted now close to 750,000 people. Yeah,
it's a great book, and a book I recommend anybody. If you're a business owner, get that book. It's a great book, and we certainly use a lot of it. One of the things that we do as a business model is we share with business owners how to generate leads and how to get clients coming to them. But you said something very interesting about marketing. Can you just share with us your view of marketing, please, Walt?
Well, what we teach in Book Yourself Solid, and it's absolutely true, is that marketing doesn't get you clients.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be really disrupting for a lot of people because everybody wants to go out in the world and do marketing. They want to spend a lot of time, a lot of money marketing because they believe that marketing is what gets you clients. But marketing just creates awareness of you, who you are, and what you do in the world. And you can create awareness in a lot of good ways and bad ways. You can, you can rob a bank or run naked down the street and create awareness of who you are. Marketing just creates awareness, and hopefully in a positive way. When someone becomes aware of us as entrepreneurs, they come and they check out what we call our foundations, the foundations of our business, and the outward expressions of our business foundations are our LinkedIn profile and our website, our sales copy. And they ask one and only one question: can this person, Terry, can this person, Walt, help me get what I want? Can this person help me solve my problem? Yes or no? If the answer in your foundational presentation is fuzzy, or the answer is no, they're gone forever. And if they don't have that answer in 6 seconds, which is what the research shows, they're gone forever, which is why it's so critically important to get these foundational expressions clear, laser focused. If the answer is yes, Terry can help me solve my problem, he can help me get the big result I want, then that person is going to give you the opportunity to create what's most important of all in business, which is relationship. They're going to give you the opportunity to establish yourself as a category authority, to create trust and credibility with them over time. And when sufficient trust and credibility has been created, and when that potential client is ready, that client will organically come out of your sales cycle process and want to have a sales conversation. If you know how to price your offerings correctly, and if you know how to have a powerful sales conversation, then you're going to get the business. You're going to book the business. And Excellent. So you need to have all of these pieces in place before you even go out and think about doing marketing.
Brilliant. Oh, fantastic. So in your opinion, what anybody listening to this, what's the first part of that should be in place before they even start the marketing?
Well, our foundation materials are made up of 4 building blocks. Building block number 1 is getting really crystal clear on who you like to work with, who you like to do business with, who you do your best work with. We in Book Yourself Solid parlance call that our red velvet rope policy. The metaphor being, being in New York, London, Paris, looking across at a swanky establishment and seeing the red velvet rope and only certain customers, certain clients being let into the business. And in the same way, we as entrepreneurs should not be just out in the world trying to do business with anybody with a pulse and a checkbook. We should be working only with our ideal clients, those people that allow us to do our best work, those people that allow us to be out in the world expressing ourselves in the most powerful way, the people that leave us feeling good and energized at the end of the day. And so getting clear for yourself who you do your best work with is the very first building block of establishing your foundation. The second building block, Terry, is understanding why people buy what you're selling. What's absolutely true is that people do not buy coaching. They do not buy consulting. They do not buy speaking. They don't buy a process. They buy a solution to a problem. They have urgent needs and compelling desires. They have things that need to be addressed and handled in the moment, and they have long-term goals and aspirations. And so understanding that people don't buy a process. So many of us, we fall in love with our process, but getting clear on what our prospective clients want, not what they need, but what they want, and understanding what they want in their own language, and understanding all of the potential benefits that go along with delivering what they want. That's the second building block of getting clear on your foundation.
So I've got to interrupt you there because you've just some real gems there. What you said is so true. Is that so many coaches, trainers, consultants, so many recruitment and search firm owners, if you ask them what they do, they will tell you about the process. I'm a business coach. I'm a headhunter. And as you rightly said, that isn't what the client wants. And one of the challenges I know that Drew and I have is actually communicating that it is about what the client wants rather than what you do in that whole process. That's fantastic. So that's building. Sorry. Yeah.
And there's a nuance there, Terry, that you hit upon, which I think is really important to draw the distinction out around. Many times when we're experienced entrepreneurs, whether it be as a lawyer, solicitor, whether it be as a coach, consultant, we know what our potential clients need. We just know it because we can see it. But so many times our potential clients don't know what they need. All they know is what they want. And it's usually a point of pain, some type of problem that they're facing in the moment. And years ago when I first started doing my work, I used to try to sell work-life balance to lawyers. Lawyers don't need no stinking work-life balance. What they want is more time. They want to master their time because time is money. Money is time. And what's interesting is when I finally figured out that before I had the privilege of working with lawyers and solicitors to give them what they need, I had to show up in the marketplace and meet them where they are and sell them what they wanted.
Yeah. Excellent. So that's building block number 2. And you said there were four main blocks. What's number 3, Walt?
So building block number 3 of your foundation is developing a very clear articulation there of who you help and what you do and why you do it. What we call a who and do what statement and why you do it statement. So let me break that down. It's critically important if you're going to be a successful entrepreneur to define a clear target market. Now, a target market is to be distinguished from this ideal client. The ideal client are these general characteristics of people that you like to deal with. For me, it's somebody who's already enjoyed some success. They believe that the best is yet to come. They're adventuresome like I am. They're risk takers. They're coachable. They have a vision of a powerful future. Those are the types of people that I do my best work with. So that's within my red velvet rope policy. By target market, I mean a particular group of people that you're going to offer your services to. So, for example, lawyers or wealth managers or accountants. And a particular target market, because when you identify a target market, you then know where to ultimately do your marketing, because you know where these people show up, you know where they congregate, you know with whom they associate. You know that there are already existing means of communication, networks of communication that you can piggyback on. And when you show up for a particular target market, that target market also feels secure with you because they believe that you're there to serve them rather than trying to be a jack of all trades. So my initial target market when I first started in coaching and consulting was lawyers. I help lawyers. So one can help lawyers do a lot of different things. You can help lawyers do time management. You can help lawyers do marketing. You can help them do brand strategy. You can help them do website design. So I help X is the first piece of the third module of Book Yourself Solid. I help a particular target market. I help lawyers. Do why. That's the second part of the equation. Why being the big problem that you solve. Again, the problem that you solve in your potential client's own language. So mine, for example, was I help lawyers get more clients and make more money. Lawyers want more clients and more money. So that's my I help X do Y statement. And then getting clear on why you are doing this work. Your why is what sets you apart. A lot of people get worried about, there's a lot of competition in the marketplace. Well, there's only one Terry. There's only one Walt. There's my motivation that drives me to get up in the morning and do the work I do is uniquely mine. The thing that causes you to show up and do a broadcast like this is uniquely yours. Simon Sinek, the leadership guru, said, start with why. It all starts with why. Our why is our rocket fuel. Our why is our unique brand identity. And so the third building block of Book Yourself Solid is getting clear on what target market you help, what big problem you solve, and why it is that you do the work.
Excellent.
And then when you've got that, module 4 is learning how to have conversations, building block 4 is learning how to have a powerful conversation about what you do. Not getting tied up in some ridiculous 30-second elevator pitch, but by having a conversation with another human being, being able to be in conversation, not to rely on a label like I'm a lawyer or a coach or a consultant, but to be in conversation around that prospective person's challenges, that a person's wants, their urgent needs and compelling desires, and to be able to communicate in a powerful way who it is you help and how you do that.
So if I was to summarize that, Walt, what I get from that is you don't kind of lead with a label. So if you're a coach, trainer, consultant, you don't say I'm a coach, trainer, consultant. If you're a headhunter, you don't say you don't say I am a headhunter. You get crystal clear about
you lead always with your who and do what.
So as a coach, let's say you're a sales coach, it would be something like I help SMEs increase sales and make more money. If you're a headhunter, and let's say your niche market is retailers, I help retailers identify the top performing IT professionals that will add to their bottom line. That makes perfect sense. Brilliant.
Boom. Beautiful.
Excellent. So they're the 4 modules
those are the 4 building blocks. There are 4 big chunks of Book Yourself Solid, the 4 modules. The first being your foundation, the second building trust and credibility, the third perfect pricing and super simple selling, and the fourth being marketing, the last. What we've just talked about are the building blocks of your foundation, having a red velvet rope policy, understanding why clients buy what you're selling, developing a target market and a niche, and then knowing how to talk about what you do. Those are the 4 building blocks of the first module of Book Yourself Solid.
Right. So once you've done that, and I guess once you've established that, what would be the next step, Walt?
Well, that is so let me just underscore. Michael Port, who is the author and founder of Book Yourself Solid, he and I often have spirited conversations about what the most important part of Book Yourself Solid is. And he, of course, says, well, it's all important. And I say, well, Michael, dude, you wrote the book. Of course, you'd say that. I happen to think, in my humble opinion, as president of Book Yourself Solid Worldwide, that the heavy lifting is done in the foundation. Everybody wants to rush through the foundational stuff. And the foundational stuff, when I go into a business and assess a business, if I see that a business isn't getting traction, it's usually because there are cracks, deficiencies in the foundation. So spending the time to get this stuff done, even though it doesn't feel like you're, quote, doing something, is so critically important for the success and growth and scalability of a business. So that's number one. But as I said, marketing doesn't get you clients. Marketing creates awareness of who you are, what you do in the world. When somebody becomes aware of you, they go and they check out your foundation. They ask one and only one question. Can this person, Terry, help me solve my problem? Can he help me get what I want? If the answer is yes, because your foundational expression is so crystal clear, then they will give you an opportunity to create trust and credibility with them. And so module 2 is all about the process of building trust and credibility with your potential client over time. And like module 1, module 2 has 4 building blocks. And the first building block is to ensure that you're showing up in the world as a credible, likable expert, which means that you are holding yourself out in the world in the way in which you want to be held out. You are upholding the standard indicia of credibility and likability. You have a professional looking photo, a professional looking website. Your work product is of the highest standards. You're out in the world speaking and talking about what you're doing. You're out in the world writing about what you're doing. You're seen in the world as a credible representative of the work that you do. And that's the first building block of module 2. Mm-hmm. And so the whole idea of module 2 then, once you've shown up in the world like that, is to then we talk about lead capture generically in the world. In Book Yourself Solid, we talk about having a sales cycle process and a keep in touch strategy. Those are modules, building blocks 2 and 3 of module 2. A sales cycle process is understanding the 2 core truths of customers. Number 1 is that clients and customers buy when they want to, not when you want them to. I hate that truth. I wish they would always buy when I want them to. But they buy when they want to and not when you want them to. Yeah. And they buy in proportion to the amount of trust and credibility that you have created with them. And so having ways for people to sample what Terry does or Walt does in a sales cycle process honors those 2 core truths. So
Walt, can I ask a question on that? This is fascinating. So, are you saying then that if the client has an issue around your fee or the investment required, that it's probably a reflection of how they view you, your authority, and your credibility?
It's almost never about price, Terry.
No.
So if somebody is not buying from you, it is either that the client isn't ready, and that's fine. They go back into your sales cycle process. You keep on nurturing them. You keep on taking care of them. Or you have not, as you suggest, developed sufficient trust and credibility with them, because trust and credibility, I've had people spend $10,000 on me after they've heard me in a 45-minute keynote. That's great. But the usual course is not that. The usual course is that people will take some time to get to know you, because business is based upon relationship. People do business with people they know, like, and trust.
You're listening to the Renegade Recruiter Unleashed podcast. For show notes, additional resources, and podcast updates, head over to www.therenegaderecruiter.com.
Period. Full stop.
Yeah, and that, I mean, we always joke about this. It's a bit like if you go out on a date, and on the first date, you say, "Look, can we get married?" Not a wise decision to ask for that on your first date.
The dating metaphor I use all of the time in my coaching and consulting because it is absolutely spot on. It's just like that. You are creating a relationship, a meaningful relationship with your client or customer, and if you do not see that, you are missing out on one of the most important pieces of doing business. People talk about, list building. Well, lists are people. We need to treat our lists like they are human beings, and to nurture, to add value, to add content, to be in service to the people who are in our tribe.
Yeah, and it brings them to think out. Some of our clients, some of their fees can be 40, 50,000. And their way of getting business is to call a complete stranger and say, "Look, we're fantastic at what we do. Can we have a business?" And then they get frustrated when the client says, "Can I think about this and get back to you?" And then they get even more frustrated when the client never gets back to them. But what would you expect?
Yes. And all you need to do is to run that through your dating metaphor example, and you can see exactly why it hasn't worked.
That's right. Yeah. Excellent. That's fantastic, Walt. So you've got that.
So building blocks 2 and 3 are having various ways for people to work with you. Low barrier to entry offering, your high barrier to entry offering, your lead magnet, your no barrier to entry offering into your sales cycle process. And building block number 3 is a keep in touch strategy, having a way on a regular basis, a regular weekly or monthly newsletter, some type of regular communication by which you are nurturing and caring for your tribe. And then in that context, as you nurture and add value, you're making your people aware of opportunities to work with you along the way. And then the 4th building block of module 2, creating trust and credibility, which is related to everything we've been talking about, is developing a simple information products that people can use to also experience who you are and what you do in the world, because that's an additional way of increasing your credibility, your trust with your potential clients. And so module 2 is all about creating trust and credibility, creating that powerful relationship with your prospective clients.
Excellent. And at this stage, Walt, just to give some examples for those that don't know, when Walt talks about a lead magnet, let me give you some examples. For examples, on your website, let's say that you're a sales trainer. Sorry, I'm going to use that terminology again. They come to your website, and you could have on there something like, 7 questions to ask a sales trainer before you engage them. If you're a search firm, 7 questions to ask a search firm before you engage them. Simply give us your details, and we're going to send you this free report that will benefit you. So that's your lead magnet. Now, you've captured their details now. Now, most small business owners, they've got a website that talks all about themselves and their mission statement and their goals, and honestly, nobody cares. This kind of website, where it's a lead magnet, you're going to capture details, but that's just the beginning of the relationship, as Walt pointed out. And then what you then do is to email them. You'd write to them. You might offer webinars, but you're going to keep in touch with them on a regular and consistent basis. So as Walt said, so you're building that trust and credibility. And the beauty of all this is that this whole process, you kind of set it up and it's automated. It's not a case of you got to stand over your emails, wait for every time somebody opts in. It's really simple to do. And what we know is that the top performers, performing small businesses out there, this is exactly what they do to generate business. And the way that you explain that, Walt, is fantastic. So thanks for that.
You're so welcome. So when sufficient trust and credibility has been created over time, and when the client is ready, she or he will very often organically come out of your sales cycle process and say, "Terry, I'm ready for a sales conversation." And I've had this happen so many times. Somebody who's been in my audience 4 years ago or 36 months ago, they've been getting my stuff, and all of a sudden I'll get an email out of the blue. Can we talk about coaching? Can we talk about having you come into my company to do some training? And so module 3 then of Book Yourself Solid is perfect pricing and super simple selling. And pricing, Terry, you and I could have a conversation for an entire different podcast around the pricing thing.
Absolutely.
Knowing how to price your offerings is so critically important. And it starts with number one, owning your own value, knowing the value that you bring to the world. Getting rid of all of the head trash about, am I worthy? Am I enough? Do I have enough training? Do I have enough certification? But understanding the value that you deliver in the world, the impact that you deliver. We talked about solving a big client's problem. Well, what is the value of solving that big problem? How does that value translate into his personal life, his financial life, his existential life, or her life? So understanding your value is the first step to getting clear on pricing, and then standing in that place of value, owning that place of value in your bones. So the pricing piece is critically important. That's the first building block of module 3. The second building block of module 3 is knowing how to have a super simple sales conversation. And a super simple sales conversation is not a pitch. It is not a push. It is not some type of drive to close a deal. It is simply a conversation. And it's a conversation that has 4 parts to it. It's understanding, number one, where somebody is, what's going on in your life right now, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, understanding where you want to go. 5 years from now, where do you want your business to be? Where do you want your life to be? And what will that be like for you? And question number 3 in a 4-part sales conversation is, well, would you like help getting there, Terry?
Mm-hmm.
And then number 4 is, would you like that help to be me? Simple sales conversation. The only time I've ever blown a super simple Book Yourself Solid sales conversation is when I have not taken the time to be curious, to be interested, to listen deeply to what my prospective client wants to say, and work with that prospective client in that conversation to really connect them with what their goals and dreams and hopes and aspirations are for their business and for their life. And when they're connected to that place, and when they're ready, they'll say, yes, Walt, I want that help to be you. And then you'll book the business. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah, fantastic. What I'm going to do at this stage, because these are absolutely fantastic, I'm just going to give some examples, because you've made that so simple. But again, I'm going to give the example, if you're a sales trainer example, what the questions you'd be asking is, tell us about your business now, what you're doing now, what's the size of your team, et cetera, what numbers are we looking at? I'm curious, 12 months from now, what would you like those numbers to be? Where do you want this sales team to be performing 12 months from now? So let's say they're at 1,000 now, and they want to be at 10,000 12 months from now. So there's the gap, so to speak. Would you like some help getting there? Well, yeah, sure. And then, would you like that help to be me? Fantastic. And if you're a headhunter, a recruiter, very similar. Tell me about your business. Tell me about your team. If you've got a team, maybe about 20% are underperforming. Where would you like this team to be, let's say 12 months from now? Well, I'd like to be doing this and these kind of numbers and us achieving that. Would you like some help getting there? Of course, and would you like some help? Would you like that help to be me, rather? I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. And the way you sum that up there, super simple sales conversation. It doesn't get any more simple than that, really, does it? Well, fantastic.
It doesn't. And when it's done thoughtfully, just as you summarized it, it's uncanny how often you will book the biz. It's completely in integrity. So once you have those 3 modules in place, a solid foundation, a systematic way to build trust and credibility, an understanding of perfect pricing and super simple selling, then and only then are you ready to go out in the world and do your marketing. And we teach in Book Yourself Solid land 6 core self-promotion strategies, 3 of which we say are mandatory, 3 of which we say are optional. The 3 mandatory core self-promotion strategies, marketing strategies are ridiculously simple. And they are so simple, and they don't cost anything, that's why most people won't do them, because, well, they're that simple and they don't cost anything. Well, why should I do them? Marketing ought to cost money. It ought to be painful. Well, these aren't. The first marketing strategy is what we call the networking strategy. Not networking, probably, Terry, in the way most of your listeners are thinking, but networking meaning that every single day we are connecting with people on a one-to-one basis, as distinguished from what you referenced before with a CRM, one-to-many. This is on a one-to-one basis, every single day, connecting with people that you already know, but would want to deepen the relationship further with. Strategic relationships, colleagues in the same field, colleagues in complementary fields, maybe even competitors, past clients, prospective clients, but a group of strategic people, strategic relationships that you already have that you want to deepen the relationship with further. Every single day, being in touch with just a few of these people on a regular, daily basis. That's the networking strategy. The second core self-promotion strategy that we say is mandatory is the direct outreach strategy. Every single day, reaching out to somebody you do not yet know but would like to know, purely because you want to create new relationships, purely because you want to know more people in the world, not because you want to sell something to someone in the first instance, coming back to your dating metaphor. We have all had that experience where you reach out to somebody on LinkedIn and all of a sudden they're trying to sell you their crap. That's not the way we do direct outreach. It's reaching out purely out of curiosity, purely from a place of wanting to create new relationships. That's the second core self-promotion strategy. And then the third core self-promotion strategy, perhaps for most of your listeners, the most important one of all, we call it the referral strategy. Every single day looking to make and create referral partners. Because think about this for a moment, when you're doing business at a high level, you've got that $40,000 product or program or engagement. People aren't usually doing that through a Google pay-per-click search. They're not surfing Facebook for Facebook ads. If you're looking for a cardiologist or a forensic accountant for a wealth manager, you're not going on Facebook to do your shopping. You're looking for referrals. Most times, if you're putting in a high-end kitchen, or you need your late model Beamer serviced and you're new to town, you're asking colleagues, who do you use? So the referral strategy, making and getting referrals, creating a powerful referral network on a regular daily basis is what we call our third core self-promotion strategies. And those three strategies alone, Terry, used on a daily basis, I have seen people start from zero and end up with six-figure businesses at the end of 11, 12 months. That's how powerful they are.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a client, a headhunter in the south of England. He attributes something like £180,000 to a referral strategy. And it, by the way, it's systemized. You know, it's not an ad hoc. It's interesting what you said there. Ian does this on a daily basis. He's got a systemized referral system. But what he knows from his systemized referral system, that per month, it's worth to him between 15 and 25 leads per month, every single month. No, you know, he's not dabbling at it. He's not dipping into it every now and then. I think that's a really good point you made there. It's systematic and it's daily.
Yes, amen.
Really good point there. Fantastic. Well, fantastic.
And then our three optional core self-promotion strategies. We say they're optional because they're not essential. We say they help turbocharge your core strategies. The speaking, the writing, and the web strategies. The speaking strategy, getting out on, to BNIs, to Rotary Internationals, in front of chambers of commerce, in front of organizations that service your target market. Being seen on stage is a powerful way to do marketing. Writing on a regular basis. You and I know that our mentor, John McCullough, talks about the importance of having a book Having writing out in the world is a powerful way of turbocharging our marketing. And web strategies. Yes, web strategies, we say in Book Yourself Solid land, are last in terms of marketing. I have seen so many people get beat up and hurt with Facebook advertising and Google pay-per-click. I have also seen brilliance. One of my certified coaches in Ireland, who is an accountant, has used a Jeff Walker style product launch formula to generate 250,000 euro inside of 2 weeks twice. Web strategies can be great when used prudently and well, and they can be disastrous when used sloppily. And when they are used instead of the mandatory core self-promotion strategies. And so I've shared with you, Terry, then the 4 modules of Book Yourself Solid: the foundation, building trust and credibility, perfect pricing and super simple selling, and marketing. And when all 4 of those modules are in place, then you have a business that hums, that grows, that scales, that gives you the life that you want and deserve.
Yeah, and I just want to recap on a couple of things you said there. That again, you talked about speaking, and you made a really good point. Now, being seen on stage, you're then positioned as the expert. You talked earlier about credibility and authority. What I'd add to that as well, you don't even have to be on stage. Webinars, is a great way of positioning yourself as an authority. And then you talk about writing. You're right, writing books, and it can be even ebooks. One of the things that we get all our clients to do is to create an ebook. Because here's the thing: if a client says to you, "Why would I work with you rather than any of your competitors or do nothing at all?" I mean, the great response is, "Have you read any of my books?" Straight away, you're going to stand out from the crowd.
Yes.
And the website, what I'd say on that is, again, I agree with everything that you said there. And all this has got to be done in conjunction. And, the ideal scenario, the more what we call routes to market, I think you guys pronounce that routes to market, but the correct way, Walt, is routes to market. That's a private joke between Walt and I and how we should pronounce that.
Not going down. You're not going to bait me, Terry. We're not going to talk about islands in the Atlantic or Pacific. We're having none of those conversations.
Excellent. But all joking apart, but using several routes to market rather than most business owners will use 3 or 4 routes to market. What we know is the really successful guys, they're using 10, 12, 20. In our experience, there are about 150 different ways that you can generate leads and get clients coming to you. So you've made some fantastic points there. Well, this has been absolutely brilliant. I've got so many questions to ask you, but we're kind of pushed for time, and I wanted to touch on you in time. So what I'm going to do, Walt, if this is okay with you, I'm going to ask you, just give us an overview of time mastery, because you've shared some gems there. But what I'm going to do, Walt, I'm going to invite you back, which I don't do very often. There's very few people that come back more than once. Somebody that a certain Mr. McCulloch, he came back. He's been 2 or 3 times, but you've shared so much there. I would like to get your take on time management, but just as a summary, because we can't go into it now. In fairness, I say to you, Walt, I'd love to do all these things, but man, I'm too busy. Your response to that would be what, Walt?
If you're busy, that's probably bad. Busy is not being productive. Busy means you're caught in the vortex. Busy means that you are not choosing well. Doing fewer things well is the key to time mastery. Steve Jobs of Apple fame once said that he was as proud of the thousands of things that he said no to as the few things he had said yes to. Getting clear on the big rocks, as Stephen Covey would have said. Getting clear on the few things that lead to the big outcomes. The 20% things that lead to the 80%, as Pareto would teach, or as Gary Keller in his brilliant book, The One Thing, would say, what is the one thing that makes everything else easier or unnecessary? Doing fewer things well.
Excellent. We're going to come back to that, but that's a great little taster. And so we're going to come back to that. So almost like in our next episode, how to.
That's right.
As well.
It's a cliffhanger.
That's right. But you've made some really good points there. The 80-20 principle. Every business owner right now, it's 20% of their activity that's given them 80% of their results. And if you can just focus in on those 20% of activity, I was talking to a client only 2 or 3 days ago. He worked it out. There's only 7 or 8 things that if he just did on a regular and consistent basis would add something like $250,000 to his bottom line. It really is that simple, but it's kind of thinking like that and acknowledging the 80-20 principle, which we'll come back to.
Yeah, well, and you said, what would you say to somebody who's busy? Busy has become a badge of honor.
Yeah.
How are you, Terry? Oh, busy. I'm crazy busy. It's like, well, that's not good. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. That's a really good point. The badge of honor. Yeah. I'm yet to meet a business owner that says, I'm not at all busy.
Well, when I hear somebody say they're busy, I respond as if somebody has died. I say, oh, I'm so sorry to hear
that. Love it. But I tell you what we're going to do as a taster for that. You got and I know you've written some articles on productivity and improving productivity. Can you tell us about some of the articles that you've written on productivity and time management, please, Walt?
Well, I have my book. My second book is The Power Principles of Time Mastery. Do less, make more, have fun. Mm-hmm. Now in its second printing, with a foreword by a brilliant leadership expert. So that's one thing. I do plenty of programs and seminars and workshops on time management and productivity. One of my 2 primary keynotes that I do with corporations around the world is on the power principles of time mastery. And I have a number of small giveaways, one of which I shared with you before we got on the air today, called 7 hacks, simple productivity hacks that people can use right away. And I think you're going to make that available, Terry, that I think would be a benefit and be of use to your people.
Fantastic. So it's 7 hacks to increase productivity. If you're an
Yes.
owner, if you're a business owner, this is a must read. So if you go to coaching at
summitsuccess.com /7, the number 7 hacks. Coaching at summitsuccess.com /7 hacks, 7 being the number. That's that will give you just enter your name and email there, and you'll download my 7 productivity hacks. Make life sweeter right now.
Brilliant. And you talked earlier about LinkedIn. I take it that you're on LinkedIn. Can our listeners reach out to you on LinkedIn, Walt?
Oh, I love LinkedIn. I'm there every day doing my core self-promotion strategies, connecting, reaching out, networking with people. I think it's one of the most powerful places entrepreneurs and professionals can be, and I would love to connect with some of your people.
Great.
All of your people.
Can you spell both your first name and second name as it is on LinkedIn, so people can reach out to you via LinkedIn?
Sure. Walt, like Walt Disney. Hampton, like Southampton.
HAMPTON.
TON. Yep.
Fantastic. Well, that's absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed that. And as I said, we're going to get you back, and we're going to look a lot closer at time management. But thank you so much today for what you've shared with us today. Some absolute, just fantastic. And you've made it all so simple as well. I think that's the key thing. You've kind of what a lot of people find complicated, you've made really, really simple.
Business at its heart, Terry, is simple. Business is simple.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Really good point. This is Terry Edwards, Renegade Recruiter at the Renegade Recruiter Unleashed. Until next time, take care, take action, and be relentless.